Okay. All right, we're live. Yes? All right, very good. So welcome everybody to the Montalvo Area Community Council August public meeting. We have a good agenda for this evening. We're very excited that our favorite police officer who has been supportive of our district for so long and has come to all of our meetings, has gotten promoted to assistant chief. So we now have assistant chief Matt Kane here tonight to tell us not only about what's going on in our district, but maybe a little bit about what's going on in Ventura as a whole. We're going to go on to talk about, we're going to do a little demonstration of the Ventura Connect app. If you haven't used that, you could even start downloading it now, but we're going to organize a little field trip where we can go around and together as a group and report potholes and sidewalk problems and whatever else you want to report to the city. We're going to talk about the Johnson on and off ramps. Caltrans did a study, and we have that data. They came to us and asked us to get further input from the community, so we put together a survey, and Carba's going to talk about that so everyone understands what the options are in the survey. I'm going to do a debrief on the auto center sign effort that we've had for about the past 4 years and where that is today. We hope to have our school district trustee Calvin Peterson tonight. Today's first day of school, so he might be a little bit busy, but he thought he was going to be able to stop in and tell us about what school year 2025-26 is going to look like. We have public comments section, and that's if anything that's not covered, if you would like to get up and talk and ask questions, and that could be for future meeting topics, or it could be questions of any of the folks who are in the room. That's going to be at 7:35, and then we'll probably get out of here earlier than usual. Oh, I'm sorry. Yep, it's not on my notes here. I'm sorry. And our councilman, Jim Duran, who thought he was not going to be able to be here, is here, which we appreciate because the city council is actually on vacation until next week. So we appreciate that you're showing up tonight for our meeting. And that will be it. Okay, so let's start with Assistant Chief Matt Kane.
Thank you. I'm on the microphone. So I've been your district commander ever since we've had the commander program where the commanders get the districts, and I've been fortunate enough to most of the entire time work with Councilman Duran. We're actually in contact a lot. So, and then I'll get through some of this crime stuff. It's it's a lot to report since we're every other couple months. And I'll highlight some of the stuff going on in your district, but as always, my information will be available at any time. Jim knows you, Councilman Duran knows, email me, call me, and get right back to you. I can dive deeper into any other questions. How our police department works, as far as my promotion really quick, is we have Chief Dickey, and then we have 2 assistant chiefs. The one assistant chief covers basically the administration side of the department. A lot going on with records and detectives, all of our professional staff, and the daily operations on that side. The other side is patrol, essentially, which is 911 calls, our communications center, and anything that's like patrol related. So right now it's just me. The other assistant chief is off on a long-term leave of absence. So unexpected. I don't know the date he'll be back. So as of right now, it's just me. But I do have a lot of support with the department. We have 5 commanders because we promoted a commander behind me, and then I, of course, have the chief to lean on as well. So it's a lift, but it's okay. We'll get through it. So that's kind of how the structure works of the department. Again, thank you for the great introduction. I'll get into, so I kind of refer to dots on a map because it is a little daunting as far as when you look at it and you kind of dive in. Again, I'm always available to talk further. So we'll go from, I always like do comparisons. So May to June of this year, total offenses. And again, remember, these are what we call NIBRs. So the National Incident Reporting, we went to that. I've explained that several times. We went to that a long time ago. And what that does is it reports everything, crimes, incited crimes. If there's one crime, but then all of a sudden cops get out there and there's multiple, they all get reported. Another thing that it picks up that I like to mention is all the drug-related offenses. So arrests. And those, for the most part, those are quality of life arrests that we're making out there, but those get captured under NIBRs as well. So your numbers look kind of skewed from, say, 30 or 40 incidents over a month, and they jump into 110, 115. So May to June, 110, June, July, 112, and then July till now, we're at 113. So what I've highlighted is, like I said, I'm always available to go in deeper, but arson, we talk about, so the 101 and Victoria, so under the underpass on 727, we did make an arson arrest. It was a vagrant, and it was more of a kind of a trash fire, but obviously could get on there further, so that arrest was made. Your assault offense is at 24. So I've explained this before, where any simple assault is also captured. Simple assault meaning a battery or alleged battery that usually under our old UCR we would never categorize. And then also what you throw in there too are any of your domestic violence arrests or incidents. So those numbers are high. It's 24. You put that with the theft, and then also with the drug, the drug stuff, it starts driving things up. So the arson, so under the assaults, there's nothing that blatantly stood out as something that, we have a problem with someone running around in our district here doing assaults, and there's no pattern there. We have a big district, so you have a lot of simple batteries and that we're dealing with. Burglary. So those are a big deal because you think of burglary, someone breaking into your house and taking stuff. Well, what also we have, obviously, with all of the commerce and stuff in our district, you deal with the commercial side of burglaries. So anytime someone gets arrested for a theft out of a business, it's classified under commercial burglary. So we did have a couple of the residential burglaries I looked into, and one was actually they were both garage related, which anytime you enter someone's garage, it's also classified in the, tools and other property were taken. So it is a good reminder to close your garage and try and keep them locked. I already touched briefly on the larceny, so larceny theft. So shoplifts, those are all categorized under that 42 incident category. And it's high, but realize too that looking through here, a lot of mostly petty thefts under there. So motor vehicles, so those are always big to me. I know back when I first started doing this, everyone was super concerned, and so was I, with the catalytic converters, because it may be sold on the street for the metal that's in there for pennies on the dollar, but it costs us or whoever the victim is thousands of dollars to replace it, because they got to go out and they got to go to a shop and they got to put everything back together. And we did at certain times kind of have those going on down like the auto district, like back kind of in those areas, but I didn't see any of those. So that's good. The again with the thefts, a lot of open garages, and also to going back to that, did have some window smashes with vehicles, but we do get still a lot of doors left unlocked on vehicles. So doors get open and stuff gets taken. It's a reminder to not leave property that's of any value, like if someone's to look in there, that they wouldn't want to try the door and open it. The city's not alone with that. I mean, it's happening all over the county. Like I watch video after video of someone, going door to door and opening and trying to open, unlock, and then they move on. It's just a lot easier. They don't have to break something to get in. But realize that's what drives that number up to 42. We'll continue here. Like I said, I made some highlights. Still working through the thefts. Oh, for the stolen vehicle on there, so we did have a couple arrests, and a few of those were recovered as well. Oftentimes getting a stolen vehicle back, not always in the best condition, but we did recover a few. We talk about, so what jumps out too, we had the 2 robberies, and those are both vagrant involved, and then when you involve force or fear, it becomes a robbery. So, and it was minor property taken, and it looks like mostly on the street. There's no specific as far as like someone like a string of that stuff going on. Weapons violations would stick out, and what happens with that is under NIBRS, when someone's arrested and there's also a weapons violation, it gets categorized as not only drug related or other related, but then you throw on the weapons. And both of those, all 3 of the weapons violations, one of them, the person also had a taser on them, and the other 2, they had what is classified as a dirk or dagger, which is a knife, but when it's concealed, and it's not, you can wear a knife in a sheath on the outside of your clothing, but when it's hidden and it's fixed, it's considered a dirk or dagger, and then it gets categorized under weapons as far as on top of the offense, but it does kind of stick out because it's weapon laws violations. So I was asked to, and anyone have any questions on the crimes? Again, I'm always available for follow-up. Go ahead.
I just noticed a cluster at the south end of Johnson, and I'm assuming that's at the new apartment buildings along the river. Can you tell us about that? And can you repeat my question?
Yeah, the cluster, and I don't, what are you referring to exactly on Johnson?
Activity happening along the river path. Why is there such a cluster down there?
So that's going to be your thefts, and I don't, as far as specific information, person thefts basically, and also it looks like, yeah, so like I talked about vehicles getting left open. So you've got that track right there that kind of sits down by itself, and people trying door handles and going in cars. There was a couple window smashes, but the majority of those were open vehicles, open doors.
And then also the attempted kidnapping.
Yeah, so I can speak to that, or I know we wanted to talk about, we can do both the ICE related stuff, but we'll get to I can talk about the kidnapping. So we did put out a press release, and it was the 6400 block of Hummingbird. So basically the apartments there, the homes, you have a suspicious person, turns out vagrant, kind of acting in a weird way in the complex, and at one point there's some kids playing in there, and one of the girls, I believe she was 10, she notices that this person had her sweatshirt, and so that drew her attention because she had laid it down while she was playing, and she alerts her mom to that effect, and then a little bit of time goes on, and the person approaches the girl, grabs onto her, and pulls her a short distance. Unknown where she was going to get pulled to, because some people intervened. Thankfully, that the girl was kind of being watched also by neighbors, just out playing. People intervened. There was a fight. She released, and then mom also found the suspect, and there was another fight. And then after that, the neighborhood kind of followed, luckily, the suspect until we got there in a couple minutes, and then we arrested her for the attempt kidnap. I looked into that case this afternoon. So this person, which we put the name out, but Trinity Stewart, sometimes the press won't have the name, but Trinity Stewart, she's 25 years old, vagrant, and she is a post-release offender, which is the California's in 2011 with Assembly Bill 109. It's any of your non-violent crimes. It used to be you go out on parole, but with that Assembly Bill, she went out on post-release, which is like a supervised probation. So she was on post-release offense, and they filed 236 PC, and she's still in custody. Her next court date is the 20th of this month. So,
Been in jail ever since.
what's that? I'm sorry?
She's been in jail ever since.
Yeah, she's been in jail. They did file that. There's other little crimes that related to that weren't filed, but the 236 was, which is a felony, which does carry some pretty significant consequences. So yeah, she's in jail, and the next court date is in the morning of the 20th. No problem. So we'll talk. Don't get too long on time about ICE. So we have always complied with Senate Bill 54, which basically we don't have any federal authority as local law enforcement to do any immigration enforcement. What that means is, so I lateraled here 25 years ago from LAPD, and we have never, as an agency, done any immigration enforcement. First of all, we're not legally allowed to. Secondly, it's not a focus for us. And then this Assembly Bill came out. We were already, in January of 2018, it was a no-brainer for us because we weren't doing it. So the jails, as far as releases and who they classify as someone that as far as immigration status is totally on the jail, we don't have any control over that. The raids that you hear about, so we have always had partnerships with all the agencies in the county, including our federal partners. But to be clear, our role in any of these is to assist and keep the peace. We don't, if you see like with the, out at the Glass House, the marijuana incident, for FBI was out there, of course ICE was there, and then you see the sheriff's office there. So, and then Oxnard may or may not, I believe, have had a few officers out there. But we get called into that essentially to keep the peace. We take no enforcement action in any of that, and we never have. Unfortunately, the uniforms may look similar, and we get kind of rolled into the fact that now we're ICE and we're out doing stuff, and it's not the case. Just like any other law enforcement entity, we will provide assistance if asked for protection for that agency. So whether it's FBI, whether it's federal, but we don't, again, we have those agreements, but we don't get involved in anything immigration related. SB 54, if you do a dive in it, we can't ask immigration status, we can't arrest for immigration violations. We can't use ICE agents as interpreters. So if they're on the same call as us, we can't even interface with them for someone to interpret if they don't speak our language. We can't share personal information with ICE, which this is the Assembly Bill, and we've already been complying by it for years. And then the rest of this is holding individuals beyond release dates. That deals with the jail. We don't run the jail. Limited transfer and notification requests under the Assembly Bill, again, a jail function. No new contracts for immigration detention. That's detention, meaning the jail. We have at our police department a booking area, but and we quote unquote, it's a jail, but it's not a booking, it's a temporary booking facility where we process, and then officers never away from the suspect until they go to county jail. So we have an area that we can pre-book and do stuff, but we don't leave a person at our station and then go somewhere else. We don't have it. We don't have a jail. And then no participation in joint task forces for immigration enforcement. So a lot of times we get called for if we have a rash of thefts or this retail task force, you have people going into stores and stealing things, and then task force get formed. We join certain task forces at certain times, but we've never participated in any immigration task force as far as that's concerned. I know it's a little bit wonky as far as how that's rolled out, but does anyone have any questions about that stuff that I didn't cover? Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, when you talk about the jail here, is that the one at the government?
Yes,
center?
ma'am.
Who actually runs that jail then?
The sheriff's department.
Oh, the sheriff.
Yes.
So is protocol different for them than you?
So I can't really answer to their protocol, but as Sheriff Freihoff has communicated, they're not getting involved in either in any immigration stuff.
Because my understanding is if someone is released, apparently ICE is there to pick them up immediately. Now, whether that's rumor.
Yeah. So I can't speak to that. We're not involved in any of those releases. We get reports and the councilman can contest. I mean, you have white vans and they're coming in and they're picking people up. We track what we can, and I'll go over some calls where ICE did call us as far as being in our city, but we've never been able to substantiate any of the rumors where they're going in and kidnapping people or capturing people and taking them. We've responded and haven't seen it. Again, with the jail, I can't speak to it.
So in other words, you arrest somebody and you bring them to the Ventura County up at the center.
Yes.
And then you just walk away.
Yeah, there's quite a process for us to get them in there. A lot of times they got to go through the hospital first for medical clearances, and we're completely with them for a good hour or two, and then the rest of it, all of the housing and release and everything else is taken care of by the jail.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I have one more question.
Yes.
And it's not about the crime report. Do you know the name of the officer that actually works this beat, the Montalvo?
So there's several officers, but I can put you in touch with. So we have the beat system. There's 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, and 2 in the evening every day.
For this particular
Yes,
area?
yes, at least 2.
Oh,
Yes.
I thought there was one officer per beat.
No, there's 2 per beat, and there's 4 beats, and then our overlap. So from basically noon to about midnight, you double that in deployment. So you essentially have 4 per
How
beat.
can we find out who they are?
I can definitely. If my information is available, I'll let you know.
Okay.
And the deployment changes every 3 months.
Okay.
Yes.
Marilyn, are you thinking of Commander? Because we used to have Commander Kane for our area, District 6.
Oh.
One
Oh, right,
person.
right.
That's
So
me,
if you're
yeah.
wondering who the new
Yeah,
commander is, who
Oh,
is replacing you?
It's me.
Oh, you're
So yeah.
right.
Yeah, so if I didn't get to that in the beginning, I apologize. So I'm keeping District 6.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, so,
Can you do both of them? Can you fulfill your duties?
sure,
at-
why not? Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, no, I'm more than happy it's been a good relationship, and I want to keep it that way. And we are not, our command staff is not overstaffed. So, the several years that Chief Dickey was a commander and then assistant chief, the same thing, he kept a district. And that's what we do. He doesn't have, he had District 7, which now is Commander Farrell.
Oh,
Yeah, but no, I'm your person.
okay, nice to meet you.
Yeah, thank you. So, I don't want to take all the time. So, from 6/6/25 to 7/21, so we document back to this ICE, we document when they're in our city. We ask for them to let us know where they're at and what they're doing. Sometimes we get good information, and sometimes we hear stuff. We get out there, and they never told us they were in our city. Incident was one on Harrison, Dakota, Empire, one on, 800 South Victoria is going to be the jail. The 1900 block of Victoria, one of them at our station where Homeland Security needed some assistance, and then another one on Harrison. And again, we document these, but looking at the comments, these were only documentation, and we didn't even get involved even as far as an assist. But just to keep a running tab of stuff, we do keep them documented in case we're asked, and also because of our curiosity. And, we want to make sure that we're complying with state law, and one of those ways we do it is through documentation. And then we can assign case numbers to each of these, and then later on we can go and track them and see what our involvement was. But it's very clear with our officers that they're not to get involved in anything immigration related. First of all, they don't have the authority, and secondly, it's not our call. So that's pretty much it. I am out of time too, but any other questions? I'm going to leave some of these. It's the 2024 kind of snapshot of basically kind of your city, not just your district, but the entire city. I will take pride in this. So basically, 122,000 police contacts we had in 2024. We answered 49,000 911 calls. Our average response time to a priority one call was just over 4 minutes. We handled over 530 injury traffic collisions and 15,612 vagrancy complaints. With that being said, so we have 122,000 police contacts. Any idea, just one last, how many uses of force came out of that? Anyone have any clue? 113. So we pride ourselves in that. Arrests out of that was 5,390 out of 122,000 police contacts. And then total, so 911 calls were 49,000, and then calls for service, which get classified that don't always come in through 911. They can be a whole different myriad of how we get our information. We had 83,000 calls for service. So, like I said, we pride ourselves in our training and everything else as far as force. With de-escalation and everything else, we don't go to force first, and it's obvious. Out of those forces, we also classify when there's great bodily injury, either on the officer or the suspect, and we had 0 in 24. So we pride ourselves in that. We try our best. We consider ourselves the best in the county. So anyways, and like I said, the stats don't lie either. So appreciate your time. Thank you. I'm always available. Thank you.
Thank you for being our partner in this community. All right, the next one is going to be James Lowry, who is a Montalvo Area Community Council member at large. So he serves on our board.
Thank you, everyone. Good to see you all. I just wanted to come up here and talk to you a little bit about the Ventura Connect app and how to use it. And I'd like to actually try and propose a time that we actually can maybe get out there in the neighborhood and use it together. Now, for those of you that are not familiar, Ventura Connects is the app that you would use to report anything you see. And it's, largely for public works items, but you could, if it could be anything from a pothole to sidewalk repair, traffic issue, but you can also use it, and I'm just going to go ahead and pull it up here, except, there we go. And unfortunately, I don't know if there's a way that, but you'll just have to believe me on this one. I don't know if there's a way you can see my screen. I can barely see it. So, but there's actually a really big drop-down menu of choices to report items on. So it could be animal issues, building safety or compliance issues, drainage, fire inspections, graffiti removal, hazardous material regulation, homeless encampment, vagrancy, other issues. So there's actually a section called other issues to where if it doesn't fit in one of those categories, overgrown vegetation, parking and traffic enforcement, parking infrastructure, parking surface, parks facility maintenance issue, potholes, sidewalks, streetlights and signs, traffic infrastructure, trash and debris removal, trees, wastewater services, water, and website. The nice thing about it, though, and I've used this, is that it does your anything that you put in there, and especially I've used it for potholes. It does work. It's it goes to Public Works, and I know that it's a preferred system. I imagine Jim probably gets a lot of emails and calls about it stuff too, and it actually is probably the preferred method, right, to use the Ventura Connects app, because it also logs straight into the system and through the website, through their dispatching system in the city, they can instantly send it over to whether it's a Public Works issue or whether it's a Parks and Recreation issue, or they can send it to the correct department. And one of the nice things about it too is that you actually, so let's say if I was to, the one I use for the most is for potholes. You describe the issue and can say pothole. I used this recently on a pothole on Tanager Street over by Montalvo Hill Park. Said there's pothole in the middle of the road. I took a picture of it, and so you can actually there's an attachment button. You can just take a picture of it, and then when you go next, they'll ask you for the location. And I think I just gave the 1,000 block of Tanager to so you don't have to get hyper specific about it, but you can. And sometimes I know that in some cases the geotagging will actually work while you're using it, and sometimes you need to tweak it a little bit. But I think it's a great tool, and I think that it'd be nice to be able to utilize it together. I know that we all have seen our roads, and so it's a great opportunity for us to get out there and go walk them together. So I'm going to propose the last Saturday of the month to be one to get out there, and we don't have to go all day either. This can be, let's just find one area, focus for an hour. Bring your dogs. I'm bringing mine. So bring your dogs, go out there. Let's go walk around for about an hour, and we'll, find an area. And if I think that it's probably more helpful and more going to be more effective for a group of us to be reporting this together versus the one or two isolated ones. The squeaky wheel does get the grease. So if we get out there together and we go and look and see, and if there's anywhere that you see a particular problem that you'd like to get addressed, please contact us. I'm going to be pushing this out through social media and through our communication, our blog, emails, everything. So we'll start at the end of the month, and I'm thinking probably it'd be like 9 or 10 o'clock Saturday morning. Go out for an hour. Let's, don't have to be too crazy about it, because kickoff's at 12 o'clock. And the 27th is SC versus Illinois. So, hopefully we don't lose. But yes.
So shall we all bring our cell phones on Saturday?
Yes. Bring your cell phones. Yes, absolutely. Yes.
And the other question is, has anybody reported the one right down here on Montalvo? Just right here?
I am not sure, but maybe that's a good starting point, actually.
It's right there, and I accidentally communicated with Santa Paula. So if somebody wants to take a picture of that, that'd be great.
Oh, where is it at?
It's right here, right in front of the industrial, right past the chapel.
Okay. Oh, okay. You know what?
Can't miss it.
Well, heck,
It's just before Grand.
when I finish, we'll just go out and do it right now. Yeah. So yeah. Hopefully, and again, talk to people, spread the word. Let's get out there for an hour, get some steps in, get the dogs walking, and then go on the rest of our days. Any questions?
Sounds good.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you.
Love that, our community in action. Very good, James. Thank you. Okay, the next topic, we're running a little bit behind schedule, but I'm sure we're going to catch up, is going to be our secretary on the board, Carba Eckley, who's going to talk about the Johnson off and on and off drive. I'm not going to go into it. You share what this is all about.
All right, thank you. I'm not particularly passionate about this. I've just been asked to report on this, so I will just preface with that. But the Johnson Drive and US 101 on and off ramp is for anyone who drives a vehicle and has ever attempted to get on US 101 North from Johnson. You've probably sat at that stop sign and been in fear as someone coming on the off ramp is, darting off of the highway, and you're like, who designed this? So all of you may have thought of that. I've definitely thought it. So 2 years ago, the city sent a formal letter to Caltrans asking who thought of this on our community's behalf. And you could go to the next slide. And yeah, for those who don't know what I'm talking about, we're talking about North Bank, kind of just south of the Tractor Supply. US 101 North, it's that on and off ramp right there. There's problems with the southbound on and off ramp too, but for the sake of kind of this study, we really looked at this one right here. So 2023, the city sent a letter to Caltrans and was like, hey, can you look into this? And Caltrans said, sure. So after several months, they came back and posted up at the intersection and did some studies. And this is the result of that study, and they basically were like, from their perspective, there's three kind of scenarios. There's, and I'll describe it, there's like 3 columns here. There's the existing condition, so status quo. There's adding a stop sign on the off-ramp. So if you're northbound, I already see some feelings. So if you're coming northbound 101 and you're getting on the off of the freeway, placing a stop sign right there, or adding a traffic signal is the third option. And so what you're seeing here is a few things. So there's there's 4 approaches. There's the off-ramp itself. There is, the folks who sit, bless their hearts, on Ventura Boulevard trying to turn left and get to Carl's Jr. maybe or something like that. But there's those people. And then there's the folks who are coming onto the highway on North Bank. And then further kind of down, there's the intersection at Johnson Drive. So it basically has 3 stats for each of the examples. There's delay in minutes, so 2 cars. There's the level of service, which is like a school grade, A, B, C, D, F. And then there's the 95th queue, which is essentially like oh man, and I had this written in the notes too, but it's essentially the distance of cars that are backed up, basically. So in the case of existing conditions, folks on Ventura Boulevard are really kind of sitting there for a while. So that is like basically a distance in feet. So from this, as you can see, Caltrans determined that adding a stop sign is transportation statistically the best solution. Second to that is keeping it the way it is, and the worst case in terms of level of service, line of cars, delay, and folks sitting there is adding a traffic signal. So they came earlier, I think this year, in like April of 2025. Caltrans met with the board of Montalvo. Jeff Hereford from the city came and chatted with us, and we basically kind of discussed the results of the study and then decided the best thing for us to do is to survey the community. So if you go to the next slide, I have put together a short Google form to ask basically these 3 options. As a board, we decided a couple things weren't in the study that I feel like should be kind of regardless of the status quo situation, which is just improved signage. If you go to the intersection, they're like quite small on the left and right. The danger of the ramp is it really doesn't register for folks who are new or don't know that the off-ramp folks are coming in hot. So improved signage, delineators, which is essentially just like cones to like really mark stuff out. So that's existing scenario, like business as usual to us is improving the signage and adding cones, but not doing anything. And then otherwise, it's adding the always stop and the delineators, and then the last is the traffic signal. Or other, which is if you're a creative, traffic planner, send us your thoughts. So, yeah.
When is that survey going to come out?
It's made, and it can be shared tonight.
And how will people get it? Where will they find it?
We can we'll post it on Nextdoor and Instagram. We'll post it on the blog, on the website, email, yeah, a variety of sources. And we'll probably keep it open for a month. Yes.
Am I correct to say, did you say to add stop signs, like off the freeway?
Yeah, that's what Caltrans is suggesting.
And the other one, add in a traffic signal, that's just as crazy. Okay. I just want to make sure I understood.
Yeah. That's the,
Because they have
Crazy.
problems now off of Victoria, especially on holidays. You know, the exit for Victoria right here, when it's busy and it's holidays and everyone's traveling up north. I've heard screeching cars slam into each other.
yeah.
I'm real local.
If anything were to be done, if B or C were to go in, massive signage would be needed to alert folks that something has been added, and that they need to slow down as they come off of the highway. So
So you're saying no signage would be added if item 2 or 3 were selected?
I imagine it would require some signage to alert folks that the traffic plan has altered.
Well, there's no signage on Victoria, but there's the exit, the right exit for Victoria. But once that gets packed out, they're lining up on the freeway. And people behind them are going 50, 60 miles.
Johnson Drive has a much longer
It does, yeah.
though. We looked at the satellite map. Victoria has a pretty short lead, so it's pretty easy to back
That's
up.
true.
Johnson Drive goes all the way back to the collection.
That's true.
So, I would recommend, yeah.
Do you want to step on the mic, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Carba. So yeah, I would recommend that, don't go and do this survey like tonight. Think about it a little bit, because as we've all had conversations, I think we've all changed our minds a few times about it. It's kind of complex. But what I was just saying is Victoria has a very small lead before the light, whereas Johnson actually the ramp goes all the way back to the collection. So if it is marked well that there's a stop sign ahead, it should improve it, so you're not feeling you're in a roller derby trying to get across the street, and not have a car come and hit you. So I'm not going to try to lead anybody's opinion in this at all, but give it some thought, and please participate. If you have any other options, use the other. And, really conversation on our Instagram and our Nextdoor pages and our blog would also be helpful as well.
You're saying communicate to all 3?
No, choose one.
Oh,
Choose one. Yep, but feel free to have a discussion on Nextdoor, Instagram. Send us your thoughts on email. Okay, we'll take all that information in. You have more slides?
I forgot. There was
Okay.
Tonight is literally the last night to comment on the general plan. So, tonight is the last night. And tomorrow at 5 p.m. it is done, signed, closed. So, it's not done. It's never gonna end. But it is the last public comment period for the current draft general plan, tomorrow at 5 p.m. So if you haven't already, please share your thoughts. Planventura.com.
and when will the results come out?
It is going to Planning Commission in like late September, and then Council in October.
Any changes to our neighbor?
But take a look at that, and then you can comment
I have, it's so complicated.
Yeah, I know.
We need PhD to get through it.
All right, so we're going to move on to the Auto Center sign discussion. We'll keep that rather short. This presentation was put together by one of our VAXNIC. Our VAXNIC stands for Ventura Auto Center Sign Neighborhood Improvement Committee, who started back in 2020, I believe, when the Auto Center sign was turned on. And this presentation is from our last meeting with the city, and that was in April. And James Lowry put this together. Obviously, at the city council meetings, you have to note that it's personal opinion. That's why that's on all of these slides. But just wanted to kind of show you, if you're standing out in front of this specific church at night, this is the view that you have at the sign. We were presented by the Auto Center sign folks in this room that sign would not face our community. That's our biggest beef about this. So sometime during the process, that sign rotated out 83 feet and moved to directly face our community. Community never had an opportunity to comment on that. So we had many meetings with various officials at the city. We attended a lot of city hall meetings. We had a lot of empathy about our situation, but we were never able to get the sign taken down or rebuilt in the way that it was proposed. So what I'm here to say tonight is that the Ventura Auto Center Sign Neighborhood Improvement Committee, we have been closed and dissolved. So any further efforts about this sign and any further communication will go through the Montalvo Area Community Council as far as they feel that they want to continue doing this, but the ad hoc committee that was VAXNIC gave a really valiant effort. And so what our board agreed to do, though, in the closure of the VAXNIC group, is we sent a letter to the city staff, to the city manager, and to all of the city councilors, and asked them to, let's close this out. So over the 4 years, the Auto Center sign owner had offered a few things like planting trees, and purchasing blackout curtains for any of the folks who are directly impacted. And so now that we're closing, what we thought was, let's put it out there on the table, and let's try to get a final negotiation and compromise. So I'm going to list the 5 things that we asked for. And we will make this public so that, everyone in the community who wants to support this is welcome to do that on Instagram, social media, speak to their council folks. And so the first one, and Cassie is showing various things here. This is what was proposed. That was what delivered. You can see the whole community that's affected by the red light there. Go to the next slide. Yeah. So That's all that I really needed to say there. But what I wanted to share is, so the things that we're asking for are to dim the sign. This would be the 101 southbound traffic sign substantially from last light to first light. So, from dusk to dawn, basically. And so that, and to continue to turn the sign off completely from 10 p.m. until 6 a.m. So that is currently what happens. The sign is turned off at 10 p.m. That was an initial concession that the Auto Center sign owner did for us. But the sign glare is visible all the way up at Foothill and beyond. And so it's clearly not just advertising to the freeway. So we're asking that they would dim the sign substantially, about 35 to 50% in those evening hours. Number two, the second part is strategically planting large, fast-growing trees near or on the Montalvo Metrolink station, because we looked at those maps and found that that is where the red glare that you saw, trees there, they're not going to stop it, but they may help. It might pepper in some relief for some of the homes in that area, and it would improve our neighborhood's, appeal. Just by planting trees. We are asking that the city or whoever is going to plant those trees, the sign owner, would partner with our board to determine exactly where those trees should be planted, to the best of our ability. Number three is for the city to expedite approval of the dark sky ordinance. Okay, so there is talk about a dark sky ordinance in the city of Ventura. If we would have had one, this wouldn't have become this big of a problem. So let's get that done so that we don't have this happen to any other communities in Ventura again. And to report to us the status on the dark sky ordinance. And then we're asking the sign owner, which is Hofer Properties LLC, to pay for any blackout curtains for anyone who hasn't already purchased them themselves, for the folks who are most impacted, which is in this area of Old Montalvo. And then we would like for them to donate, we put in a number of $60,000 to $75,000 for the sole purpose of improving the roads and sidewalks in this Old Montalvo community, which is most impacted, to counterbalance the loss of property value to the neighborhood who's impacted the most. Sounds like a lot of money, but as it turned out, the sign was built on the city right away, so there were never any taxes collected. So the sign owner actually kind of had the opportunity to not pay taxes for 4 years. So we're hoping that some of that some of that money will be diverted to our community to improve the property values and enjoyment of our property here. So that's what we're asking. The Montalvo Community Council board sent this email to the city. The city councilors are all on vacation. We have not heard back from anybody yet, but we will definitely report this out in social media as well as in our next public meeting.
So
Yeah.
these are all requests that the community council has requested?
That's correct.
And then Hofer is the property owner of that area where the sign is placed?
My understanding, the right-of-way went to Hofer Properties.
Well, Hofer's been around for a really long time. I used to work the Montalvo Improvement District, the sewer district, and he wanted our land or our sewer for years. We're not gonna get too much from the city in our favor because Hofer's got a lot of money.
Well, we're still hopeful. We're hopeful. Yes. Thank you. And thank you for everyone who has participated in those meetings.
But very political, and there's a lot at stake and a lot of upcoming with this new levy or
Okay.
whatever.
Yeah, and that's a good topic for future meetings. So, any of this stuff, but we're running out of time. We're running behind at the moment. But please, let's keep that going.
To do public speaking at the end to get it on the microphone for the recording.
There you go. Yeah, because the recording isn't hearing you. All right, so the next will be Calvin Peterson is going to talk to us about the school year, Ventura School District. Then we're going to bring up Councilman Duran, and then we'll have our public comment. Thank you.
Yeah, a little bit. Okay, well, first of all, thank you for inviting me. I don't always get to come, but I always appreciate it when I'm invited, when I can make it. And I really appreciate groups like this, and I just wanted to read this quote that I saw the other day where it says, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed individuals can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has." So groups like this is really important because you guys make things that move. All these little groups, pushes everything in the world. So thank you. So today was the first day of school. So it was a very busy day for me. So that's why you see me limping a little. I got a bad football knee. So they put me to the test today. So what I wanted to do is I went to elementary school today. And every elementary class I went to, I did an elementary school joke. All right, so I'll do my joke I did here today. What's the difference between a teacher and a train? And you say, what? A teacher tells you to spit out your gum, and a train says, chew, chew. Oh, yeah. I'll be at Levity Live on February 31st. Okay, all right, let's get to some real information. So Metavo here, I know you've seen the new playground. We put a new playground in. It's an inclusive playground. So if you ever get to visit, it's a really cool design. I have pictures on my phone. So if you want to see at the end, I'll show you pictures on my phone. But we just hired a new principal from Metavo. And it's a kind of cool story because she started her student teaching at Metavo over 20 years ago. And so now she's the principal. So I want to give her a hand. Her name is Claudia Escoval. And she's worked in Oxnard. She's worked in Ventura County, different TOSAs, which is Teacher on Special Assignment, where she'll go in and do different programs, Spanish speaking, DLAC. Those are our Spanish speaking programs. So I think she's going to make a really great principal at Metavo. So we're very happy to have her. Let's see here. I don't want to take a bunch of time. I asked for a lot of different information just in case, but they give you a whole bunch of information in 10 minutes. I'm not going to be able to do this. So I do want to read, and I'm going to read this verbatim because it's our immigration statement. And we have received questions about how our schools will respond to immigration or other law enforcement officers coming onto our campus. And first of all, I want to make sure Ventura Unified School District and Ventura Police Department have a great relationship. This is geared for ICE and not about Ventura Unified. We have a great relationship. They come to our campus. We have resource officers, so they're invited all the time. To enter campus without an appointment, law enforcement must identify theirself unless it's imminent danger. To obtain records or contact a student or staff member, they must present a valid signed judicial warrant or court order. Teachers and staff are trained to direct all law enforcement and immigration officials to the front office and notify their principal immediately. Students should not engage with law enforcement officers and should alert the front office staff or principal to manage the situation. Bus drivers have received training and safety procedures regarding this topic. End quotes. The next thing is surplus properties. A lot of people are interested in our surplus properties and what we're going to do with them. What we've done is we've hired DCG, which is a strategy company that's going to help us with the RFP process on what different things our properties can be utilized for. And we've already submitted that out, so we're already getting bids about people that want to buy our properties. We have a new cell phone policy for our students. Basically, elementary students will never have their cell phones out during campus. Middle school, it must be put away in a backpack until after school ends. And with high school, they basically just need to keep them on vibrate. They can keep them on their person, but they can't have them out during class time. And that also goes with earbuds. So that's a brief, so as you see, it was a lot of information, but I know we're running a little behind. So I'll answer any questions if anybody have any.
Calvin, I had a quick question. With Vernon Ice, you said that they can't get in unless there's an appointment or a warrant. How do you keep them off of campus? I mean, campuses, schools are not locked in.
Well, during the daytime, there's most of our schools, we have 27 schools. Taking away the high schools, those are pretty open campuses. But the rest of them during the day, there's just one entry point. And they just can't walk into a classroom. They need to come and show what type of warrant, because there's 2 warrants that we have to respond to, and there's other ones that we don't. So unless there is a dangerous issue where they need to just get into a classroom for a situation, other than that, they do have to have permission because we're custodials of the students.
So they walk through the store and it's open to the public. Are there cameras there? Is there security there?
Well, schools are not open. Schools are not open to the public during school hours. You still have to report to the offices, and we still have procedures where you have to sign in, sign out, what student you're coming to talk to, or what business you're having.
ICE doesn't do that.
No, well, actually, they've come. I think we've only had one situation where they've come in Ventura, but they go to the office.
What about if the children or students are out there playing football, or can they go right out on the playing field?
You know, it's the situation is kind of like this. We're going to ask them to follow procedures, but we don't want any teacher or any employee trying to obstruct a law enforcement officer. We'll present them with the paperwork that we have. We'll tell them what our policies are, but we don't want to get into a confrontation with law enforcement, and we don't want to put our staff in that situation. But so far,
They're really aggressive.
well, so far we've been lucky. We haven't had any. I know there's stuff happening all around the country, but so far they've respected our policies.
Thank you.
I have heard a stat that Ventura USD is losing 300 kids a year, roughly, and I have also heard that there is like conversations around school consolidations and closures.
Yes, if you look at, they were concerned that there was a rumor that someone heard that we were down 300 kids a year. And yes, the whole state of California is in declining enrollment. We used to have 16,000 students. Today, we're probably enrolled just a little over 14,000. And it's a lot of combination of things. House prices, mean age of Ventura is going up. And not a lot of younger people are moving in. We are going to have a discussion about school closures. Not that we're going to close a school, but if you're trying to balance a budget and we'll be in a deficit if we don't do something, every subject have to be discussed. So not saying that we're going to close them, but we are going to have a discussion about that, and that's on our future board item. So if you want to participate in that meeting, if you have input, please join us for that. But yes, we are declining enrollment.
Calvin, one other thing, a bunch of bonds went through. What happens to all that money that the residents have voted yes on if schools are closing down?
Well, there was a bond passed. It was 400 and I think it was like $25 million. But the quote that we got to fix everything for our schools was over $1 billion. So even if we close half, which I'm not saying we're closing half the school, so I don't want my email to blow up, but even if we close half, that wouldn't still be over $500 million worth of repairs. So it is a lot of money, but there's a lot of work to be done.
Okay, very good.
Any other questions?
I got a question.
Yes.
You mentioned that the high school students are able to keep their phones with them.
Yes.
Seems like they're the ones that are going to most violate, paying attention and producing good grades.
Yeah, well, most because we do have students that have children, we have students that work, and we're trying to be sensitive to that. The good thing is our student, it hasn't been a problem. I know you've seen in the news that it's been a problem, but in our school district, it hasn't been a real problem. Maybe I could say probably about 15 instances that I can think of where people were very upset that they couldn't have their phone out, and we worked those out.
And our graduation rates are up.
Absolutely. We especially our like continuation school on how fast we're getting people to repair credits. We're very happy about that. We have a very successful continuation school. Anything else? Well, thank you for your time.
It's always good to have you here with us. Thank you so much for the update. Okay, Mr. Duran, thank you so much for being here tonight.
Thank you for having me back. So Commander Kane, great guy, right? So when he got promoted, which is Assistant Chief Kane now, when he got promoted, I called him up and I said, "What does this mean for District 6?" And he says, "I still have District 6." So I said, "Then I endorse and approve this promotion." Because he's a super great guy. He's so responsive and he takes care of business. He's wonderful. I'm glad we have him here. So I wanted to let you know that we have a temporary new location for city council meetings till January, which is going to be at the Wright Event Center, 57 Day Road, Ventura College area. August 19th through January, because we're going through ADA improvements in the historic City Hall council chambers. And so the meetings are going to be online. They're going to be streamed online. However, there's not going to be any virtual participation during this temporary relocation. I also wanted to talk about the Olivas Drive Extension and Levee project. We are actually going to be doing a shovel in the ground at the end of the month, and then construction is going to start in September. It's a 2-year construction project that's going to connect Johnson Drive with the Olivas Drive, allowing improved access to the harbor for many residents and improved traffic circulation. There's 4,500 linear feet of new roadway that's going in, and sidewalk improvement and pavement improvements on each end of the roadway. The project's also going to include new traffic signal at Perkin Avenue and dedicated Class 1 multi-use bike path parallel to the new roadway, new biofiltration and storm drainage infrastructure, and an extension of the water and sewer utilities within the roadway. There's a lot going on over there. Additionally, the scope of work is going to give us 5,400 linear feet of a new levee that's going to run parallel with the roadway as well. The levee's going to have floodgates crossing over Olivas Park Drive and Auto Center Drive, and it's a $51 million project. $10 million is coming in cash from the Hofer properties, and they're also giving us land and soil. There's a bunch of dirt that needed to be moved over. They're donating all of that. They're giving us all of that, and so we're getting some great things from that. So that's that. There's also restriping projects on Bristol Road. The restriping project on Bristol Road between Johnson Drive and Antelope Avenue. You'll notice that this got done a few weeks ago. It finally got finished. It went down into one lane, and the main reason for that was it was a dangerous area for there was three homes on that one side there that got their parking taken away. And now getting out of their driveway as people were flying by, it was super dangerous. And so even though some people have noticed a little bit more traffic during the morning commute, they appreciate the safety, and it doesn't back up that bad, but it's safer for everybody. So that's why that happened. And I also wanted to let you know the Traffic Road or Telegraph Road resurfacing project. We had that water line improvement that went down in there, and I just thought it would be good for you to know that there's resurfacing going on from Ashwood to Hill Road. It's finally underway. It's finally happening. And this is the anticipated completion date is January 2026. It includes asphalt repairs, sidewalk and curb upgrades, ADA ramp reconstruction, and new traffic striping. Pedestrian push buttons will be installed in compliance with the current ADA standards, and buffered bike lanes that will be added between Day Road and Hill Road to improve cyclist safety. And the medians will be refreshed throughout with drought-tolerant landscaping, similar to what we have on Victoria Avenue near Buena. So that's all changing as well. Now, there's been some paving that's been completed and some that's going underway in District 6. Hummingbird, Quail, Waxwing, Scoter, North Bank, Victoria Avenue, Bristol Road, and Valentine Road have been completed. McGrath from Telephone Road to Eastman and the northbound lanes of Palma Drive from Colt to Market are receiving a 1-inch surface overlay, which will begin yesterday. And then this temporary, it's a temporary solution though, but it's at least it's happening, so we can get that kind of covered over. And then North Bank from Elba to Johnson is planned to be resurfaced in the winter of 2026. I know a little bit ways away, but they're working on a pavement improvement on Victoria Avenue in Ralston to Olivas as well. Registration for fall activities. I think we have a slide for that, or it's going underway right now. Residents are encouraged to check out the fall activity guide. There's so much going on, and it's really awesome. So if you check that out, there's things you can sign up for. I also wanted to share with you the Players Casino. It's planning to relocate, from the Derby Club at the fairgrounds over to Regency Theater, 1440 Eastman Avenue. So that is because it's closed. You guys knew that closed, right? So a part of that is going to be for the Players Casino, but rumor has it I don't know if it's going to be completed, and I don't know. Anyway, that's the plan. Players Casino generates approximately 1.42 million in fees for the city annually, and their move required approval by City Council. I will tell you this, that their move from where it was here in the Automotive Center to the fairgrounds, we lost a lot of revenue because of that move. And so we don't know how this is going to work out. I do know that this building is available if they are interested, but that's a whole different topic that we don't have all the information on yet. There is going to be a 2025 State of the City Address open house. It's being held on Wednesday, September 17th from 4 to 7 at City Hall, 501 Poli Street. It's a free event, family-friendly event, and we're going to have city leadership, staff, and services there. There's going to be a presentation by the mayor and question and answer, refreshments, and if you don't make it there, it's going to be recorded and it'll be on the city website. Buenaventura Golf Course, I wanted to tell you that, it was, yes, right? Severely damaged and destroyed in 23. So 14 holes opened up May 2nd, and we're planning to open up the remaining 4 holes on August 18th. So it won't be, you won't be going to the greens, but you'll be sinking your putt on the fairway, which is better than, at least you'll be able to play 18 holes until we get the remaining holes restored. You can still play this format. So I mean, it's open and it's great, and people are having a great time. Also, we have open seats available for anybody who's interested in maybe serving on the Housing Authority Board or the Water Commission. And you can go to the city website. Applications are due August 15th at 5 o'clock. And the last thing I wanted to share with you, because I saw Lisa look at her watch, the last thing I wanted to share with you is a policy consideration that's coming out on Tuesday the 19th. I have copies for you that you may have, and it's really what it boils down to is we've been talking about this for a long time. It's finally happening. We are working right now on a pilot program to get those that are arrested who are homeless from other cities back to their city of origin. And if you're available on Tuesday and you want to go speak in favor of this or share your comments at City Hall, you're welcome to do so. But I had a super great meeting with Chief Dickey and Sheriff Freihoff and a couple of other assistant deputies and Matt Levere, and it's going to be great. So what's going to happen is when someone is homeless, they're arrested, and before they get released, they're going to know who they are. There's going to be a check by their name, and then they're going to ask, do you have a way back? And in most cases, the answer is no. And so instead of a bus token with a map on how to get back, they're going to say, well, we'll have a ride here for you shortly. And then our Ventura PD, our task force, our police task force for the homeless encampments and things like that, they're going to have their officers, because we have that staffed 7 days a week. And what they're going to do is they're going to pick up the individual or individuals, and they're going to take them to a social service agency. They already know they're coming. They're going to provide a meal for them and see what kind of resources they need in order for them to help them get to wherever they need to be in their city. We're just not going to dump them off in the street. They're going to take them to a place where they're embraced and encouraged. And so anyway, super excited about that. And here's the policy considerations. Yes, yeah, yeah. So, I don't know, can she, Lisa? Okay.
I mean, we still have 10 minutes. Question, the surface street, that you're gonna do, is that below the college or?
Yeah,
I missed that. It was
Yes.
really quick.
yeah, below the college.
Is it necessary there? Is the road pretty messy?
Yeah, well, they did that. They did all that water work, that water line work. Yeah, that's why.
Will we ever do Bristol Road here from Johnson to 7-Eleven?
Yes, yes. And I mean, it's
There
down.
was a pavement management plan, it's dead, I don't know what happened. Yeah.
I need new shocks.
Yeah, I'm with you. And can I just, somebody said it earlier, squeaky wheel.
Right.
And you know, I can only do so much because they have the plan out there. And I mean, we're able to do some stuff, but help us. Send the emails because those are the things that really help and support. I forward them, and we have those conversations. So, any other questions? Yes.
Councilmember Dorian, you mentioned that the policy statement is going to be at City Hall. Didn't you say
Sorry.
it's going to be at the Riot Event Center? You
Let-
said it would be on Day Road?
Thank you for that correction. So the meeting will not be at City Hall on the 19th. It will be at Day Road. So thank you. So come to Day Road. Don't go to City Hall. Nobody will be there. Day Road. Thank you for bringing that up.
Hopefully somebody will be there directing people, right? 'Cause
Absolutely.
a lot of people may
When you drive in, there's nobody there, and then you get an idea.
Well, I mean, at the-
We'll make sure there's signage too if there's not somebody there. Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
That's September 19th, right?
Yeah, did you guys get those? Oh, here you go, please, pass that around. That's important. All righty, so did we have anybody sign up for public comment? Is there anybody who would like to comment, who haven't had an opportunity to ask a specific question, has feedback for the board, suggestions for upcoming meetings? Okay. So no public comment. I forgot to mention at the very beginning that we have one member at large who has resigned. That was Casey Rodriguez. She was very passionate and a big help on our board for about 6 months, but she has other things that have taken a priority. So we now have an opening for a member-at-large position. We do our elections in November. We will be posting this, and in the event that there would be any other positions juggling around, that will be posted on our social media as well as our blog and email. So please, if you would like to join us, we have a lot of fun. We get to be in the center of everything that's going on in our district as well as, you know, the city. And it's very low pressure. You help when you can. If you're not able to help all the time, that's fine too. We all understand everybody has other jobs. So yeah, we're definitely looking for some new folks to join the board. And with that, what a great meeting. Thank you all for coming. It's good to see some new faces as well. And you know how to reach us. The very easiest way is just Google Montalvo Community Council, and you will find our webpage. If you're not already a member, go on there, and there will be a form to fill out your name, address, so we can confirm that you're really in our district, your email address, and then you will be added to all of the emails and notifications about upcoming meetings and events. Okay, and then you'll also be able to vote in November on potential new board members. Okay, so any other final questions? All right, then this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.